Red Dead Online has been out for nearly 2 months now and well, it's become a little boring. Granted, it's still in the beta phase, but unless some big changes come soon, the player base is going to undoubtedly decline. So if Rockstar wants to keep that from happening, their best bet is to implement the biggest request from the community. This is Mr. Saints Godzilla 21, and today is the top 5 updates we want in Red Dead Online. For this list, we'll be looking at the top suggestions from fans that Rockstar can apply to their game. There won't be anything too extreme like adding vehicles, still can't believe that's a thing, but content more on the line of adjusting gameplay mechanics and features. With that in mind, let's get started.
All made to measure.
The Trapper in the single player was one of the more captivating stores you had access to. It allowed you to sell animal meats and make more unique outfits from gathered pelts. Now imagine if Online had access to the Trapper too. This would encourage more players to hunt Pacific animals for new outfits. Picture being able to unlock clothes like the bear head, white bison hat, and the Trapper's cloak. The amount of required pelts shouldn't be too tedious that players won't bother hunting, but just enough to give them a feeling of accomplishment for going through the trouble. Also, the Trapper should be the only store where you can't spend gold bars on clothes. That way, players can feel pride for showing off their hard work to other players.
There's more!
Playing as an outlaw during the Wild West, who wouldn't want to saddle up with their friends to rob a store, bank, or moving train? Well, instead, I hope you enjoy robbing wagons, boats, more wagons, a few more boats, and even more wagons. Having such a variety of heists in the single player, it's shocking they're nowhere to be seen online. Sure, you can argue that GTA Online didn't begin with heists, but it still had robbable convenience stores since day one.
Are you kidding me?
For whatever reason, the shops in Red Dead Online can't be robbed even though it's a feature in the single player. I guess this is so other players won't be inconvenienced by the stores being closed, but there's a few ways to bypass this. Instead of having a store closed for a full in-game day after a robbery, have it open back up after a few minutes. Also, disable players who robbed a store previously from being able to rob it a second time. If neither of those suggestions work, the game does already have a catalog which lets players buy things anywhere at any time. As for the train, it needs armed guards and for the passenger carts to be populated with NPCs. Have the train appear on the map as a free roam event so nearby players can go after it. Imagine you and your friends attempting to rob it while another posse rides up to stop you. Have some military trains armed with Maxim guns and you'd be in for one of the best Red Dead experiences of your life. Implementing a passive mode is by far one of the most requested updates from the community. Nothing's more frustrating than trying to move through town, hunt, or fish when random players show up and start attacking you. The only way to stop another player is by either joining a new session or killing each other so you can activate the parlay. An easier solution would be just to have the option to go in the passive mode. No longer would you have to worry about being lassoed, ran over, and randomly killed at the least opportune moments. One downside to GTA Online's passive mode is that you can't equip weapons until it's turned off. Maybe for Red Dead there should be a hunter's passive mode where players still can't attack you but you can still use weapons to kill animals. This would for sure draw back the casual players and make for less aggravating online sessions. Just like passive mode, lobby options have been a huge demand. Sometimes you just want to play by yourself or with some friends without worrying about other players. Other times you just want a fair challenge without instant aim assisted headshots. It would be nice to have similar lobby choices to GTA Online, but with a few more custom options like being able to set ped density, frequency of public events, and turning on and off law enforcement. Free aim lobbies wouldn't only affect the open world, it also presents a whole new approach to the Showdown game modes. Every weapon would become viable in the Showdown series instead of strictly using rifles for quick headshots. However, there is the concern of free aim dividing up the servers. Much like GTA Online, it'd become a constant back and forth of joining friends who use aim assist and those who don't. As for private lobbies, the only problem that presents itself is the free roam missions. Since the game urges you to stop players from completing these missions, they no longer be played in public lobbies. Therefore, the free roam missions would have to be disabled in private games. If Rockstar were to add these lobby options, the dwindling player count would begin to rise back up. At number 1, we have Minigames.
Well, sit yourself down then.
There has been no larger request for the online than being able to play poker, dominoes, and five-finger fillet with other players. This isn't only a simple gimmick, the mini-games drastically increase the immersion and life of the open world. It's one thing to play against NPCs in the single player, but picture an actual live poker game against real people, losing and winning cash from one another till possibly settling things on the street with a brawler duel. That would make for the type of moment we've been wanting since day one. And believe it or not, having the microtransactions separated to the gold bars means players can bet their in-game money without it being considered real gambling. As for dominoes and five-finger fillet, adding them to the player's camp would give it some purpose. In due time, maybe more games could be added like horseshoes. In any case, this update would help bring back the decreasing players and save Red Dead Online from an early grave. Well everyone, there you have the top 5 updates we want for Red Dead Online. If there's an update or top 5 you would like to suggest, please leave a comment below. Special thanks goes out to my Patreon supporters, John and Emperor Palpatine. Like always, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.